Hey everyone, welcome to Adventures in Everyday Cooking, where every day can be an adventure in your kitchen. My name is Heather, and today we're making edible cookie dough. Yes, I know. Isn't all cookie dough edible? It should be, but actually you shouldn't eat raw cookie dough. And here's why. It's not the eggs. A lot of people think it's because of the eggs, because people don't want to eat raw eggs. We eat raw eggs all the time. I mean, if you eat an over easy egg, you're practically eating a raw egg. That's not the reason. Actually, it's the flour. Flour can contain E. coli. And so you want to kill all of that bacteria in that flour before you eat it, which is why they don't recommend you eat raw cookie dough. However, if you stick your flour in the oven for about 7 minutes on 350, you've killed all of that bacteria and you can make edible cookie dough that will be guilt-free. Well, okay, guilt-free and there's no germs, but it's gonna be delicious and it's gonna taste just like a cookie. And it's gonna be as many calories as a cookie, but that's beside the point. This is a good thing to have on hand whenever you just want a little sweet treat. I keep them in the freezer. I'm out, so I'm like, I'm gonna do this adventure with you guys. So if you're ready, let's get started. What you're gonna need is 1 cup of all-purpose flour that has been heat treated to kill that bacteria. 1/2 cup of unsalted butter, 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of white sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 1/2 tablespoons of milk, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1/2 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips. All right, so the first thing we're gonna wanna do is get our butter into our bowl, and we're gonna cream that together just like you would cream a regular chocolate chip cookie. So my butter is softened. Now I am doubling this recipe, so you'll notice that I'm using a full cup of butter and a full of everything else, because I'm actually making 2 versions of this cookie. We're making the regular chocolate chip version, and then I'm gonna make a mint chocolate chip version because that's my husband's favorite. And we're going on a trip soon, and so I wanna be able to bring some of these with us as a treat in the car. Yeah, I know. I could just make cookies and it'd be the same, but it's not. Cookie dough is so much better. Okay, so let's get this butter creaming just a little bit. All right, and once it's creamed just a little, we're gonna add all of the sugars. So we have the brown sugar and the white sugar, and then we are gonna sprinkle the salt over the top, like so. All right, and now we're just gonna cream this until it is light and fluffy. Now, a lot of people don't tell you why they want you to cream this until light and fluffy, so I thought I would. It really does change the texture of that sugar in the butter. So definitely cream this until you see it nice and fluffy, and just, it really has changed from looking like just a sugar mixture into almost like a cookie mixture. All right, once you see it looking very much like a cookie mixture, we're gonna add in our vanilla and just a little bit of that milk. And the reason that we're just gonna add a little bit of the milk is because we wanna check the texture in a little bit. So like add half the milk and then wait. So we're gonna go ahead and combine all of that together, and then we're gonna slowly start adding our heat treated flour. Now I have made these cookies vegan before. You just use an alternative butter, like a margarine of some sort, and then coconut milk. They taste absolutely fantastic, and they taste even better if you put some actual coconut and some oats in there. They make a great oat chocolate chip cookie. They're so good. Okay, stop talking, Heather. Make your cookies. All right, so we're gonna start adding our flour in a little bit at a time. And I'll probably just add it in 1/4 cup at a time, and we're just gonna mix it together until it looks like cookie dough. If at any point it gets too stodgy, go ahead and add some more milk. The other thing I thought I would mention is if you heat treated your flour kind of clumps up when it's heat treated, and you can sift your flour before it goes into the bowl, but I've never found that my mixer has a problem breaking up those clumps because they're not super clumped together like brown sugar or something. They're just kind of clumped together. It's a little bit disconcerting when you see clumps of flour going into your bowl, but the mixer does a really good job of breaking those up. All right, the last of it's going in. And then this is the point where we decide if we're gonna add any more milk or not. And I probably, looking at this, will probably add at least another tablespoon of milk. And we're just gonna mix until everything is thoroughly combined. Okay, looks good. Let's check the consistency of the dough and decide if we think we need any more milk. I don't want it super sticky because I want to be able to roll them into balls. So I think that's good for me. All right, so what I'm gonna do here is I'm actually going to measure out half of this and do half mint chocolate chip and half regular. The smart Heather should have weighed my bowl earlier, but I did not. So we're just gonna weigh this whole thing and then we will half that so that we get half and half because nobody wants to be shorted on their cookie dough. All right, it makes about 900 grams of cookies. So we're gonna do 450 and 450. There we go, 450, 450. All right, and with a wooden spoon, I'm gonna take my chocolate chips, and this is half of a cup of chocolate chips, and we are just going to mix them throughout our little bowl here. You could definitely do this with your hands because I'm about to use my hands anyway, but I figure, why not get one more thing dirty? Okay, it's fine. I'm just gonna use my hands. Plus, when you're working with chocolate chips, you really don't want to handle the dough too terribly much because you'll start to melt those chocolate chips because they do melt pretty nicely. So check it out. Look at that. Look at edible cookie dough. All right. Well, actually, before we break into the mint one, because mint is so strong, I don't like mint chocolate chip cookies. I like mint stuff. Like I like Thin Mints, Girl Scout Thin Mints, but I don't like a mint chocolate chip most anything else or mint anything else. I don't know, it's weird. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the Pampered Chef small scoop here and I'm just going to scoop them out into little balls and set them into my container over here because they don't have to be cookie shape. They just have to kind of sit in a nice little form. Learn from experience. If you are making this for an event, and I will tell you that they are a hit when you bring them somewhere, and they are so easy because everybody wants to eat cookie dough and everybody feels guilty doing it, but they never know why. Now you know why. But anyway, if you give these away as a gift, it is super important that you tell the person you're gifting, maybe it's your sister, that not only is it cookie dough, but it is not cookie dough you can cook. So a couple years ago when I made this for my sister, I brought it over, put it in her refrigerator, and I said, hey, I made you some edible cookie dough. It's in the freezer paper in the refrigerator. And I had put it into some freezer paper and made it into a block and put cross hatches in it so they could just break off a piece and eat it. But I had put it into their refrigerator, so no big deal. Well, it was in there for a couple days and I'd left and she had forgotten that I had put it in there, and then she opened it up and she's like, oh, here's that cookie dough. I thought that I told her that she didn't have to bake it, but I did not. I guess she didn't remember that she didn't have to bake it. And so she portioned it out and baked it on 350, just like she would bake any other cookie that she's ever had in all of her life. And when I tell you how disappointed she was when her cookie spread into the size of her pan, it would be an understatement of her disappointment. But she did not tell me that happened because she thought that maybe something in my recipe had gone wrong and she didn't want to hurt my feelings. So not until many moons later, when we were talking, probably a year later, we were talking about making stuff together with Maddox. If you're on this channel for a while, you know who Maddox is. Maddox is my nephew. And I said, oh, I can teach Maddox how to make edible cookie dough. And she's like, isn't all cookie dough edible? And I'm like, oh no, it's the one that I gave you for Christmas the other year or last year. And she was like, I wasn't supposed to cook that? No, you weren't. And then she proceeded to tell me how embarrassed that she was. Anyway, Oh, so good. Okay, hold on. So all that being said, make sure you tell them, look at those cookie dough balls. Ugh. Now, if you were making this for ice cream, you would obviously want to have smaller balls than that, but this is going right into my freezer just like this, so they will freeze, and every time I want a cookie, all I have to do is take out a dough ball, and it's a cookie dough ball. They're so delicious. Okay, into the freezer. And they will travel a little better being that they're frozen, so they'll defrost way slower. They won't last our whole entire trip, but that's fine. I won't take all of them because that would be embarrassing and disturbing, and I thought about it. But they'll be delicious when I need that little sugar pick-me-up in the middle of a drive. Okay, so now we're gonna use the mint chocolate chip chunks that you can buy from your grocery store. We're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna mix them in. They are so potent to me. Like I mentioned, like I can eat the chips and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that tastes like mint. It's fine. Kind of tastes like Andes mints, if anybody knows what an Andes mint is. But in my chocolate chip cookie or in my cookie, I don't seem to like it very much. And I don't know if it's just the mint itself. I like mint other stuff, like I like mint tea, but I don't know. Okay, so once that's all mixed together, we'll give you a close-up of this beautiful dough. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna get these portioned out into our container, and then we're gonna get them into the freezer. And it's important if you're doing a mint versus a chocolate chip. So if you're doing two and you decide to do a mint one, make sure it has its own container because mint does bleed through into other things. So I have in the past made mint, I don't even know what I made, mint, fake mint Oreos or something like that, and I stored them with other things, and the other things ended up tasting like mint. All right, and there we have it. Now, using the small scoop, both of those mixes made 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17 cookies. Oh, let's give you a close-up of these ones. There's no mistaking that those ones are the mint chocolate chip ones. And that dough tastes a lot like mint, which is fine, but I'm not gonna eat those, I'm gonna eat those. Oh, I fried fish. I'm gonna eat a cookie. Hold on. Dun, dun, dun. I'll eat the little one. Look at that. This is like a hug. Oh man. Made of pantry staples that you probably already have in your pantry. Edible cookie dough is so much better than cookies because you don't have to sit over your oven for 3 hours baking them. All right, well, I should put these away before I eat another one, although you know I'm gonna eat another one. I have a thumbnail to do, and I'm gonna bite into another one, and I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna get off here though, so that I can go eat another one in silence and not be judged for the amount of cookies that I'm about to consume in the next 5 days. But if you enjoyed that video, give it a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. I do videos several times a week, and I'm always looking for the next adventure. And I love to share adventures with you that sometimes I don't even know how they're gonna turn out. So you see some of those fails coming up. I'm not gonna mention any video names, but there's a fail coming. You may have already seen it, or maybe it comes out after this, I don't know. But we had a fail in the last week, and I'm still gonna share it with you because I'm an everyday cook and I'm not perfect, and recipes aren't perfect. So when I get a recipe from somewhere else, I will share it and hope that you don't make the same mistake that I did. So if you ever have a recipe you want me to try, I don't mind failing for you. I would love to succeed in it though. I mean, I'm just saying it's a thing. But if you have any ideas for me, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, you guys, that's it for me. I'll see you on the next adventure. Bye.